makes mistakes in their life, but that does not mean they have to pay for them the rest of their lives. Sometimes good people make bad choices. It doesn't mean they are bad. It simply means that they are humans. Welcome to the program, Motivational Monday Life with the Prince. Today, I'm glad to be here on the show once again. And we want to talk about mistakes today. Mistakes and how you can use mistakes to improve yourself. Because anytime you are doing something, people want you to be perfect. People want you to be, oh, they say they want you to be the best of it. They want you to do the best and all of that. So is there any room for mistake? Is there any provision for mistake? What happens when you make a mistake? What happens when there is an error? What happens when things don't go the way you plan it? What happens when things don't go the way you wanted it to go? What do you do? So today we are talking about mistakes and how it affects you, how it affects your life, how it affects your success. Well, I'm going to be alone in the studio today to talk about this subject. So I hope that you flow with me and enjoy the program. And those of you that are going to watch the replay, please make sure you make a comment, like the video, and say something about the program. Let's begin by talking about or explaining mistakes. What is mistakes? Mistake is in an act or judgment that is misguided or wrong. Sorry about that break. Mistake is an act or judgment that is misguided or wrong. Mistake is to be wrong about something. To be wrong about something. Probably you see somebody and then you felt that, oh, this person is like this. But you didn't know you were wrong until later, after working with that person, you begin to discover that he's not like this or she's not like this. That's a mistake. Mistake is maybe you got a business idea, you were told about a business idea, and you jumped into it and you said, oh, this business is going to be fantastic, it's going to be good, it's going to be great. And then you went ahead with the business. But by the time you began to do that business, you now realize that it wasn't the way you thought it was. It wasn't really, the way you were told that it's going to be. And you begin to experience different things by the time you start to do the business. That could be a mistake, because by the time you begin to see the reality of that business, you might lose money. You might lose other things. You might lose time. You might waste energy. Oh yes. What is mistake? Mistake means to understand something or someone incorrectly. It means to understand something or someone incorrectly. And then finally, excuse me. Finally, what is mistake? It means to make a wrong judgment about someone. To make a wrong judgment about someone. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Every one of us makes mistakes. Every one of us makes mistakes. Whether you are rich, whether you are poor, whether you are educated, whether you are uneducated, every one of us makes mistakes one time or the other. Now, what's mistakes that are important for success? Some people will say, oh, is mistake important for success? Yes, sometimes mistakes are important for success. If you are going to be successful in life, it does not mean that everything you are going to do is going to be perfect. It does not mean that every step you are going to take is perfect. You see, those that became successful, those that became great, not all their decisions were right decisions. Not all the things they did were the correct things. Sometimes they had to make mistakes. So I want to talk about mistakes that are important for success. How does mistake become important for success? Number one, mistakes moves us to learn. Mistakes moves us to learn. When you make mistake, then you become motivated to say, oh, I think I need to learn, I need to improve, I need to. When you make a mistake, then you know that you've lacked something. What you did was not correct. The business you went into was not correct. So you begin to study about that business. You begin to find out about that business. How can I improve myself in this business? How can I make this business such that the failure will become a testimony? So that motivates you to learn. You begin to connect with people, meet with people, and tell them, oh, I've made this mistake. I've done this business, but I started on the wrong foot. So what do I do? Do you have an idea what I can do? You begin to interact with them. And through those interactions, you start correcting yourself. What are you doing? You are learning. Through those interactions with people, you start adjusting yourself. As you are doing that, you are learning. As you are doing that, you are improving. As you are doing that, you are growing. So mistakes moves us to learn. And this is important for success. So if you are out there today, you have made one mistake or the other, you've made a step or the other that is not correct, that has affected you somehow, you shouldn't give up. You shouldn't be discouraged. You shouldn't be frustrated. I'm here to tell you that it should instead motivate you to learn. It should move you to learn. It should make you to learn mistakes. Okay, another point there is mistakes gives rise to healthy self-compassion. Mistakes gives rise to healthy self-compassion. Sometimes you start something with zeal, with passion, with fire, with energy, and then by the time you start doing that thing, there's a mistake. And when you make the mistake, maybe you are not getting the money that you're supposed to get from it as a result of the mistake. Maybe you are not getting the response, the positive response you are supposed to get from it as a result of the mistake. What happens? It will make you to now have a healthy self-compassion, to look at yourself in the right way and say to yourself, okay, what do I do? How do I correct this? How do I, so it gives rise to healthy self-compassion. Another important point about mistakes for success, what makes mistakes important for success is that mistakes makes us free from sabotaging fears. Mistakes makes us free from sabotaging fears. Because when you don't go into something, let me tell you, when you don't go into something, you will not know what it is. Oh yes. Sometimes people talk about something and they have not experienced it. Experience is different from talking about something. Yes. and even as a speaker, sometimes it's easy to speak about some things at times, but when you start experiencing it, it becomes a different ball game entirely. So mistakes makes you free from sabotaging fears. Let me explain what that is. Let me explain what that is. Sabotaging fears. Before you went into that business, before you went into that marriage, before you went into that job, before you went into that something, you had different thoughts about it. There were fears that you might have, okay? But by the time you go into it, those fears can no longer be there. Yes. Why? Because you have now experienced the situation. You have now experienced that thing in life. So you are free from the sabotaging fears. And that leads me to tell you that mistakes cannot be done or gotten, or you can't make mistakes in absentia. You can only make mistakes in the process. You can only make mistakes in the process. So that is why you should know that you don't need to be afraid to make mistakes. The reason is because mistakes will help you. How do you know what is there if you have not gotten there, or if you have not gone there? How do you know what it looks like if you have not experienced it? So making mistakes at times. I know some people will say experience is not the best teacher. Some people say that experience is not the best teacher. You don't need to experience something. If you have enough knowledge, enough information, you can be able to avoid making certain mistakes. Yes, that is true. But sometimes that mistake comes. That mistakes, you experience it. And sometimes, no matter the level of knowledge you have, no matter the level of skill that you have, you are going to experience mistake in a different form. It might come in a different way. The knowledge that somebody else have about a particular business is not the knowledge that another person will have about the particular business. I'm in a village right now, and there is a food that is called akpu in Nigeria. They call it akpu. It's made I think from cassava or something. Sorry about that. So excuse me. Now, when I came to this village, they gave me that food to eat last night. But guess what? It was not prepared the way I used to know akpu was prepared. It was prepared in a different way. This particular akpu I ate last night, it does not have any kind of smell, because the normal akpu used to have a kind of a peculiar smell, which is very pronounced. But this one I ate last night, it wasn't having any kind of smell. Even the taste was different, and the feel of it was also different, because there's a way that akpu that smells is very, very smooth. But this one I ate last night was not purely or perfectly smooth. It had some roughness on it. So in life, there are experiences. Somebody can prepare that akpu and say, oh, this is the only way to prepare it. And it's wrong. It's wrong. He will only say, or he can only say, I know a way to prepare that akpu. Because now, yesterday night, I ate another akpu in another part of Nigeria, and that akpu was prepared in a different way, in a way that, is the same product, but it's the same product, even bringing out the same results, but the processing is different, and the final product is also what? Different. Because why one have so much peculiar odor, the other one which I ate last night does not have that odor. Hello? Oh yes. So you can't experience something if you don't go into it. So sometimes God might allow you to experience some situation because he wants to deliver you from certain fears that are in you. He wants to remove certain fears away from your mind, away from your heart. And by the time you have gone through that thing, when you come out of it, when somebody is telling you, oh, that's something, this, that, you tell the person, I'm not even afraid of that anymore, because I've experienced something that is more than that. Mistakes is important for success because it makes you free from self-sabotaging fears. There are many fears that have held you in captivity. There are many fears that have made you not to go for your dream. Many fears have made you not to go for your vision. Many fears have made you not to go for the things you want in life. But I came to tell you today that you need to step up, step out, and break free from those self-sabotaging fears. You can be what you desire to be. You can be what God has created for you to be. You can go where God has prepared for you to go. You can reach where God has designed for you to reach. Stop limiting yourself with fear. Stop limiting yourself with those doubts. Release yourself and take that step today. Destiny is waiting for you until you take that step. Nobody can know it all. Nobody has it all. Nobody has experienced it all. It doesn't matter the money somebody has made from a particular business. You can make your own money. If you have the leading in your spirit, if you have the desire to go into that business, go ahead and go into it. You can make your own. The fact that somebody else has made his money does not mean that you can't make it. You can make your own. The fact that somebody else has succeeded in politics does not mean you can't succeed in politics. You too can succeed in politics. Take a step and move. Yeah. And then another point about mistakes, why mistakes is important for success, is that mistakes helps us to take more positive risk. Mistake help us to take more positive risk. Yes. When you make a mistake, you are doing something and you make a mistake, it might lead you, it might move you, it might inspire you to take more positive risk. And that is why I read the story of a man who was trying to create a drug, and then he failed in creating the drug. And in the process of that failure, of that mistake, you know what happened? He created penicillin. You know, penicillin drug, those days, penicillin drug is very powerful. It was a drug that healed a lot of people. It was a drug that helped a lot of people. It was a drug that, you know, alleviated the pains, okay, of many people. That penicillin, it was created in error, as in by mistake. The person was trying to create something else, and in the process, he created that penicillin. And when he created that penicillin, they started using it, and it was working. So mistakes help you to take more positive risk. So sometimes maybe you have taken a risk already, you've taken a step already, and it didn't work out for you, it didn't produce the result you wanted. So you can't sit in that mistake now. You have to move on. Take more positive risk. Take more positive step. Make more positive moves. Yes. Another point here is that mistakes reboot our motivation. Mistakes reboot our motivation. Some people will tell you that they will not be where they are if they didn't make certain mistakes in life. Mistakes have a way of rebooting your motivation, of inspiring you, of making you to take another step. And then the final point I'm going to say about that is that mistakes moves us from an improvement mindset to an expansion mindset. There are two different things. Improvement is I want to be better. I want to make it good, or I want to improve myself. But expansion is taking more territories, getting more, doing more. You know, expansion is no longer focusing on just yourself now, or just your level, or just your situation, but expansion is focusing on reaching out to get more, to possess more. So in a nutshell, mistakes sometimes could be a blessing in disguise. When you make mistake, you should not be depressed, you should not be sad, you should not remain there and complain and be confused. No, instead, you should take more positive step, take more risks, you know, move from where you are, move to another level. There is so much that you can benefit from mistakes. Before we round up today, I want to talk about two people. I want to tell you about two people. The first one is, or was, Vincent. Sorry if my words are not perfectly all right, okay? His name is Vincent van Gogh, or Gogh. Vincent van Gogh. This young man had a lot of challenges in his life. This young man went through a lot, but he knew how to paint. He was a painter. He kept painting. 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 But in the process of painting, he didn't know that he was going to make an impact. And not only that, this man had mental illness. This Vincent van Gogh, he had mental illness. He was sick, sort of having mental illness, falling into depression and coming out of depression and all of that. And as a result of what he was going through, he got frustrated, he got discouraged, and he committed suicide at the age of 37 years. He committed suicide and died at the age of 37 years. And guess what? Before he died, he sold one of his paints. Before he died, he sold one of his paints. Just one of his paints before he died. When he sold that paint, he forgot about it. He didn't even think about it. And then he died and all of that. But many years after he died, that paint that he did became a bestseller. Or how will I put it? People began to celebrate that paint that he did. Oh yes, they began to talk about it, because that paint was a great piece of art. It was a great work that showcased creativity, that showcased originality, that showcased greatness or something like that. This man became a hot topic in art classes. Sorry, it became a hot topic in art classes. In art classes, they began to talk about him. Why? Because of his works. You see, in life, your work matters a lot. What you are doing matters a lot. How are you making money? It matters a lot. So your work is very important. So this man, his image after he has died, this was many years after he has died, his image was now used on TV. His image was put in many books all over the world. His image was used in various forms of popular culture and entertainment. This was a man who felt that his life was an error. This was a man who felt that he was a great mistake. But he didn't know after he died that he was a great blessing to the world. I want to speak to somebody today. You may not know that what you are doing is something that is going to bless people, is something that is going to help people, is something that is going to improve people, it's something that's going to transform nations. You may not know that. That is why you need to keep doing what you are doing. You need to keep doing what is in your mind. You need to keep following your heart. You need to keep following your vision. You need to keep following your passion. You need to keep following your dreams. No matter the challenges that you face, no matter the obstacles that you face, don't give up in fear. You may say, oh, but I have some habits that are not good. You are not the only one that has habits. There are people that have worse habits than you, and they have refused to give up in themselves. They have terrible habits, and they are still pressing. They are still pushing. There's a song that says, at the end, you will be remembered for what you have done. At the end, you will be remembered for what you have done. I want to ask you a question today, my dear friends. What are you doing right now? What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your money? What are you doing with the resources that God has given to you? The resources that divinity has bestowed on you? The resources that providence has provided for you? What are you doing with those resources? Stop making excuses. Stop living in tears and shame and frustration. You have what it takes to change the world. You have what it takes to make the world a better place. You have something in you that has been put in you. It's time for you to release it. Don't allow the mistake to make you frustrated. Don't allow the mistake that you have done. It can be a personal mistake. It can be a mistake in your body. It can be a mistake in your habits. It can be a mistake even in your relationship with others. But don't allow that mistake to stop you. Supposing this Vincent, he didn't commit suicide. Who knows, he might have lived up to 50 years. Who knows, he might have lived up to 70 years. Maybe he might have even lived up to 80 years. And maybe he might have seen that his single art or his single painting produced so much result. And can I tell you something? It is possible that he might have even done more painting. You are giving up today because you are going through a terrible situation. Do you know what tomorrow holds for you? Or do you know what tomorrow has for you? Do you know what God has planned for your tomorrow? You are giving up today because you are going through crisis. No. You are giving up today because you are not perfect, because you are making errors, because you have some strange habits and you are wondering, I can't continue with this habit. Let me commit suicide. No, don't commit suicide. That man lost his future because he committed suicide. Because nobody can tell what he would have created. He would have created something else that would have changed the world, that would have affected the world positively. He might have created something else, but he made the world not to have that opportunity by going ahead to do what? To commit suicide. My dear friends, you never can tell what tomorrow holds. Don't kill yourself today because you are going through tough times. Don't kill yourself today because you have made mistake. Don't kill yourself today because family members are laughing at you and they are telling you, hey, you go away. You that is a failure. You that is doing like this. You that is doing like that. They are laughing at you. And because of that, you want to commit suicide. You want to kill yourself. No, it shouldn't be that way. Stay where you are and keep doing something. Keep improving yourself. Keep expanding yourself. One day you might be free. One day you might be delivered. One day you might find help. One day you might move to the next level. One day you might even become a celebrity while you are still alive. There's another person I want to tell you about, Michael Jordan. I will tell you in his own words what he said. Michael Jordan said, I have missed 9,000 shots. Can you imagine that? 9,000 shots. I have missed it. 9,000. I have lost 300 games. And he also said, I have missed winning game shots. These were winning game shots, but he missed it 26 times. He also said, I failed over and over in my life. And that is why I succeeded. Do you hear that? Michael Jordan, the great man, the man that is popular, the man that the whole world celebrates. He said, I failed over and over. I made mistakes over and over. I made error over and over. And that is why I succeeded. Can I tell you something? You don't need everybody to believe in you because everybody can never believe in you. Have you seen a man that everybody believes in? Never. That man doesn't exist. A man that everybody believes in, he doesn't exist. Most times, even your family members will not believe in you. Most times. And that's why the Bible, even the Bible said it, that a man's enemies, they are the members of his own house. Your friends will not believe in you. They won't believe in you. Most people won't believe in you. If you are going to succeed, it is a personal decision. Excuse me. Excuse me, please. I'm sorry about that. If you are going to succeed, it is a personal decision. It's a personal step. Michael Jordan said, I failed over and over and over in my life, but I didn't stop there. I didn't give up there. I didn't relax there. I didn't remain there. I failed over and over. I hurt a lot of people over and over. I did a lot of wrong things over and over. I started on the wrong foot over and over, but I didn't stop there. And he said, that is why I succeeded. The fact that you made a mistake today does not mean that you have to die in that mistake. It does not mean that you have to live the rest of your life in that mistake. Step out of it. Take more positive risk. Step out of that mistake. Correct yourself and move on with your life. The world is waiting for you. The nations are waiting for you. The future is waiting for you. It's all in your hands. Take that step today. Don't stay in that mistake. If nobody believes in you, I believe in you. And that is why I've come here today to tell you that mistake does not mean the end of your story. Mistake can even lead you to greater success. Don't be afraid to make mistake because mistake is important. Mistake is necessary. Mistake is a part of the process. Mistake is a part of the journey that will take you to your place of success. May God bless you. May God cause his face to shine upon you. May you be favored on every side. Till I come your way again, my name is Da Prince. I love you.